region, and their losses are enormous. In 3 months, the losses are more than the Kiev regime lost last year, more than 30,000 people. Well, they have lost fewer tanks now, about 200, and last year they lost about 240. They just have fewer tanks in general, so there are fewer losses here, they use less. And why are they sitting there, suffering such losses? Because the orders from overseas are to hold on at all costs, at least until the elections. To show that the efforts of the Democratic Party in the Kiev direction were not in vain. Now in many directions, in the Kupiansk direction, I do not know whether the military said it or not, there are two centers of blockage there. In one, Ukrainian troops are surrounded and pressed against the reservoir. A group of about 10,000 soldiers is blocked. The other is near Kupiansk. There are about 5,000 soldiers. They are trying to put pontoon crossings in order to partially break out at least. But our artillery instantly destroys them. Well, two directions in our area of responsibility of the center group of forces. There will probably be a third soon. The Ukrainian military sees everything, but the decision to fight is made at the political level. We are ready for peace talks, but not based on Kiev's wishes, the name of which changes from month to month, but rather based on Istanbul agreements and today's realities. Only the ceasefire should not be for half an hour and not for half a year so that shells can be brought to them, but to create conditions for restoration of future cooperative relations in the interests of the two peoples, which are undoubtedly fraternal, no matter how much the rhetoric is complicated by today's tragic events in the relationship between Russia and Ukraine. We certainly condemn any manifestation of terrorism. The attack on Israel on October 7th, manifestation of it. You know, must now strive to minimize the suffering of the Palestinian people. We have to stop the fighting there immediately. Both Israel and Palestine, in this case Hamas, agree on this. We have to look for ways to find mutually acceptable solutions. Are there any? A question. Is it possible? I believe that yes, it is possible, as strange as it may seem. We even have our own thoughts on this. We are even trying to talk to all the participants in this conflict, trying to find what might be acceptable to all. And on the whole, there may be light at the end of the tunnel. I try not to spoil anything, but today's conditions are
ik heb het al, ja. Denk dat je vergeten bent en zo. Ik heb nog een paar vragen, maar ik ben bezig. Maar ik was hier even met mee. Want kijk, dit is Rockstar. En dat moet jij doen. Ik kom er niet meer nou. Ja, leuk. Die papilletje maar nemen. Ja, ik heb die niet nodig.
I'm telling you, I also had normal relations with Republican Party candidate Donald Trump. I don't know if he wants to talk to me now or not. I had normal relations with U.S. President Joe Biden as well. We met with him in Switzerland. We chatted, we talked on the phone, we called each other, we joked, we laughed. There is no Russian gas in Germany now, and the consequences are severe, not only because of that, but including that. Now we have yet to see anything that could replace it all. I am talking to our experts, and now I will just repeat what they said. But I don't want to offend anyone, God forbid, as it doesn't sound good. I asked my colleagues, the experts, what is lacking in Europe now? The answer is that they lack brains. Not because they are stupid, no, but because economic decisions are made by politicians with nothing to do with the economy. It's not a healthy reaction. Every word triggers the stream of consciousness. The current and newly elected president, Donald Trump, was accused of having ties with Russia. Do you remember? Then they held congressional hearings, created a commission to investigate his ties to Russia. There was nothing. There was nothing. Nothing was proven. Nothing. And yet they used imaginary ties to Russia with unimaginable energy that could have been put to better use until the last moment. That's nonsense. I would not like Russia to return to the path that followed until 2022, as I said in my speech. It was a path that involved covert, veiled intervention against our country, aimed at subjugating it to the interests of some other countries that thought they had the right to do so. Russia cannot exist in a subordinate or semi-subordinate condition. The simplest people, ordinary citizens, have realized it. They have realized what our geopolitical opponents are trying to do to us. During our presidential election campaign, I remember especially there was no time to follow everything. But I remember watching on TV how a correspondent of some kind, a foreign correspondent, by the way,
Hello.
but I don't remember which one, approached a man in Belgrade on
Yeah.
the street. You can probably find
Ja, ja, dan ga je in één keer weer.
archives. He asked, "Where are you going?" He said he was going to the polling station.
Ja, zeg dat ze komen, dan komen ze niet.
Rules could fly in. You could get hurt.
Je bent zo thuis gaan, met die.
Why aren't you afraid? The reply was very short.
Ja,
It was already a middle-aged man.
nee.
He turned to him, looked so stern and
Hoe
said,
lekker onderuit.
"I am Russian." Then he walked off.
Kijk, nou moet ik de lullen houden.
Thus today's events have led to the highest
I'll
consolidation
make
of
it up.
Russian society and to an understanding of what
Yeah.
sovereignty means for our country.
Make
This
it
is one
up,
of the
make
key
it up.
and vital foundations of Russia's development and its existence in the future. We did not seek to abandon the dollar and do not seek to do so. The political and financial authorities of the United States or Europe do it themselves. They refuse to settle accounts in euros. The euro has not yet established itself as a world currency, and they are already restricting it in their own hands. This is nonsense.
Dat is alles afstaan nou.
We are denied simply to use the dollar as an instrument of payment.
Ja,
Well, that could be. In my opinion, this is a terrible stupidity.